Today's lesson is going to be a little bit different. We've been practicing all sorts of techniques to enhance our technical riding skills on the trail, but this one is just a fun trick that's easy to learn. Beyond learning kind of a fun and flashy trick, I'm also going to teach you how to use this technique to help with your manuals. Welcome to Super Rider. My name is Aaron, and on this channel we break down complex bike skills into easy to learn techniques so you can quickly apply it to your riding. If you've ever wanted to hop on your back wheel at the trailhead or during a game of bike, you're in luck. That's exactly what we're going to learn. If you've seen some of my other videos, you might already know that I've been riding mountain bike trials for over 20 years, so I'm uniquely qualified to teach today's lesson. Let's start out with two bike setup things. Number one, we want our hands to be as wide on the handlebars as possible, using only one finger on our brake levers. This gives us maximum control on the bike, especially on the back wheel. Next, I highly recommend flat pedals when you're learning back wheel hops. There's nothing worse than being clipped in and falling over backwards. You need to be able to jump off the bike. I'm going to start by teaching you the easiest way to get up onto the back wheel, and this will work for any sort of bike setup. The easiest way to start is to roll slow and grab your front brake to go into a small endo. We don't want to go too big with the endo because getting off balance here will throw off the rest of the movement. As your back wheel comes back down to the ground, lock your back brake and lean back. Use the momentum from the endo to help push you up to the back wheel balance point. When we talk about balance points on the bike, it's important to know that this area called the bottom bracket is sort of the center of gravity or the middle of the bike. And if we're behind the bottom bracket, it makes it easy for that front wheel to come up. If we're ahead of the bottom bracket, it makes it easy for the back wheel to come up. And if we're right over the bottom bracket, over the center of gravity of the bike, then neither wheel is really going to come up. So as we're riding and we're thinking about lifting that front wheel up, we need to make sure that we're behind the center of gravity of the bike to unweight the front wheel and make it easy for it to come up. Let's get back to the technique. To quickly recap what we've done so far, we did a small endo to get our back wheel off the ground. Then we grabbed our back brake and started leaning back behind the bottom bracket to make it easy for that front wheel to come up. But how do you know when you're over the back wheel balance point? If you can look between your knees and see your rear hub, you're in the right place. If you can't, you haven't gone far enough. But now what? You're on your back wheel and maybe still rotating backwards. It's time to take advantage of that momentum and do our first back wheel hop. Our first back wheel hop is going to be backwards. We're going to hop back as soon as we get onto that back wheel. I like to use the pedal scoop motion to pick up the bike, move it backwards, and replace it underneath my balance point. You might remember the pedal scoop for a lot of other techniques we've done where we push down, back, and up on the pedals to lift that back wheel up off the ground. It's okay to get just one backwards hop on your first try. Go again and see if you can get two. This is the basic technique for learning back wheel hops, and now you can make it a game to see how many times you can do it in a row. One thing that I definitely need to talk about here is what we're doing with our body, and more specifically our arms. When you get up onto the back wheel, we don't want to be in T-Rex position where we're pulling the front wheel as close to our body as we possibly can. We need to relax our arms and keep them out in front of us. The real work that your body is doing when you're on the back wheel is actually down in your hips. Your arms are not going to keep the front wheel up in the air no matter how strong you are. It's all about your center of gravity, your hips, what's happening there, and making sure they're behind the bottom bracket of the bike. As you get up on the back wheel, remember that your arms aren't doing the work, your hips are, and you don't need to be T-Rexed out. Just chill. As you continue to practice, you're going to get more efficient with this skill, and you're going to develop what's called muscle memory. Now what you need to do with this refined version of the back wheel hop is, instead of using your momentum only to go backwards, you're going to try to focus on pushing it more down, and that's what you need for the basic back wheel hop. Now maybe that's not enough for you, or you want to skip that whole endo part. The advanced version of this technique just adds in a small pedal movement. In this technique, we'll switch to a wheelie gear, like third or fourth in the back, and set our body weight toward the back of the bike. Then we're going to give the pedals a quick kick. If your weight is back far enough, the front wheel should pop up. You can grab your back brake when your bike is in the right position. Next, if you're feeling really good, you can reset your pedals on the back wheel and do it again. Just kick and roll forward. If you kick even faster, you can jump gaps, but that's a technique for another video. Earlier in this video, I told you that we could apply this technique to manuals, so check this out. Find a mellow downhill and get up to your back wheel. You're already basically in the position for a manual, so all you need to do is give the pedals a slight kick and you're rolling. You can also do these on flat ground, similar to how we've done the wheelbase drill. Get on your back wheel and see how far you can roll from just a single kick. From here, the sky's the limit. Back wheel hops in a circle, manuals, hopping forward. You're basically unstoppable when it comes to trailhead tricks. Give the back wheel hop a try the next time you're out riding and let me know how it goes.